Approve, deny J5 construction payment application number 4 for Pleasant View Road Slide Repair Project. This payment application amounts to $16,377, which is a release of retainage held from previous payment requests. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the J5 construction payment application for Pleasant View in the amount of $16,377.
I'll second the motion to approve the J5 construction payment, $16,377.
Okay, Dare motion, Lawson second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Sean, you've gone over this.
Yeah,
Have they made the couple repairs that Mr. Harshman was going to have them do per my request?
yeah, there was the addition to the bituminous wedge curve to help in that area.
That's good.
I got everything I needed from them early last week, reviewed it, there's a few things missing, got everything from them on Friday, did the review Friday afternoon when I got back to the office, sent an email out to all of you, so if that didn't come through, I think there's a problem that we need to look into, but yeah, so you should have all the information. We have the maintenance bond, everything PennDOT requires for them to finish their liquid fuels audit of the project, so.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion on this item? Roll call, please.
Ms. Dupree?
Yes.
Mr. Trax?
Yes.
Ms. Dare?
Yes.
Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Eskin?
Yes.
Item 9, approve, deny appointing Janet Hollingsworth to the SEREMS representative position for Union Township.
I would like to make a motion to appoint Janet Hollingsworth to SEREMS representative position in Union Township.
I got a question before I second it. And the question is, are we appointing her as just a
Liaison.
yes?
I was.
Or is she being appointed as a voting member?
I was making a motion to appoint her as a voting member, and I know there's been some discussion about that in the board of directors or whatever, but we have other board members and other citizens on boards of other things that is a board of directors. We have 3 representatives of Peters Creek Sanitary that sit on the board of directors. We have people that sit on WEASA on the board of directors, and we have people that sit on Washington County Storage Council on the board of directors. I didn't know why Ms. Hollingsworth being a voting member to represent Union Township on SEREMS was such a problem, considering that we do have board members on other boards, on other authorities, other services. So it was to be she was willing and put a letter of interest in to be a voting member on SEREMS, as the other 9 communities have voting members on SEREMS.
They don't like her.
Gary, I have a question. I know that the 2 authority boards that our township have interest in, the Peters Creek Sanitary Authority and West Elizabeth Sanitary Authority, are 2 different. There's 2 different statutory requirements.
They're municipal corporations.
Yes, the municipal corporations.
This is not a municipal corporation.
And can you answer to the representative position that meets once a year to the Washington, to the gentleman in the back, I can't think of your name, sir, but the Washington County,
Local co-op
yes.
sanitation council.
Yeah. Can you speak to that? Is there any difference between the board at SEREMS? and
I'm not
our-
sure of the exact makeup of the local sanitation
Yes.
co-op, but it's done under the auspices of the DEP, I believe. The problem with the SEREMS is it's a corporation, and I maintain my recommendation that we should not be appointing a member to the board of directors. because of the potential liability that's there. You can appoint a representative as a liaison to sit in on the meetings, report back to this board, but to appoint them to be a member of the board of directors exposes this township to potential liability because that's your agent.
I know we're completely out of order, but everyone started with free discussion, so I'm gonna feel free to discuss as well. But now that the relationship with SEREMS has changed in the way that they are now requesting a fee for service from Union Township taxpayers in the amount of $30,000 a year, and we're figuring that out, right now we're in the process of working that out. Terry Gladys is on that project. Does that change the relationship at all, or your recommendation to not have a voting member of a board when we have a service payment there?
No, it doesn't change my recommendation.
Okay, so you're still saying you would advise no?
Well, I mean, there's personal liability for
Okay.
for withholding, 941, failure to fund pensions, and unless you're there day in and day out and you're seeing the books and you know what's going
Oh,
on,
that's a good idea.
you're really out on the limb when you serve as a board member and meet for an hour or two a month. I have personal experience. The IRS will come after you if those things occur.
Personally, she can be held responsible.
And that would extend to the township
Yeah.
since she would be an appointee of the township. So she doesn't need to be, or our representative doesn't need to be a member of the board of directors to adequately represent the township at a SEREMS meeting.
That wasn't a problem last
Okay.
year.
I also would, if I may, just reiterate that, through my conversations with SEREMS on this matter, they absolutely were comfortable having a liaison as a non-voting person appointed by the township to sit in there. And there's 11, I believe, at-large voting members, so if Ms. Janet Hollingsworth or anybody in the township or otherwise is interested in serving on the board and being a voting member, they're more than welcome to put their letter of interest into SEREMS directly.
As an at-large member.
As an at-large member, that's correct.
Voting.
And they, at-large members vote too, so.
So I guess I want to amend my motion to approve or deny appointing Janet Hollingsworth as a non-voting representative position of Union Township.
I'll second that motion for a non-voting board member, representative, yes,
Non-board member
Yeah.
representative.
May I ask a question? What is SEREMS? I don't know what that is.
Southeast Regional.
Ambulance.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. Non-voter, non-member of the board of directors.
I'm sorry, Ms. Dupree, motion, Mr. Eskin second, any discussion? I have discussion. Now that we're completely changing this agenda item, I haven't thought this through because I was focusing on the agenda item that was put on here. Talking about a voting member, a non-voting member, so does SERMS, and I'm directing this to you, Terry, does SERMS do we have any paperwork anywhere that states that they have non-voting members on their board?
No, they absolutely do not have non-voting members on their board at this time. However, in speaking with them, because they said it's not officially a public meeting, but because we would have a seat anyway, if we appointed someone, they were comfortable with an individual just going and sitting in and bringing and reporting back.
Did they put that in writing?
No, that was the conversation, but this can be contingent upon we put that in writing, and I can contact SEREMS this week.
My personal opinion is I wouldn't want to vote on anything that I don't know enough about this. I don't have any information that this is an actual statement coming from SERMS. This sounds like they've created a new position somehow for Union Township. And you're stating that,
No, you said that it's a public meeting, so anybody can go, so
They-
really.
It's not officially a public meeting because they're not a public entity, but they said that they don't restrict people from coming in. So, and they think they'd be comfortable with us having a seat. So it is creating a seat at their board
Be
table
someone
for a
attending it and
liaison.
reporting back to us.
I'm sorry.
Basically, it would be somebody just attending their meeting and reporting back to us.
That's correct.
but my question is, can someone go in without having Union Township boards making motions to allow them to go in and sit there? Can anybody attend that meeting publicly?
From my conversations, and this is only my understanding that I'm reporting back here, but it's not a public meeting because they're not a public entity, so there's no law saying the door has to be open, as it is here. However, in candid conversation, they stated that they don't stop anybody from coming in, that's just their rule, and so they would be, and Mr. Doug Pasco stated that he believes that their board would be fine with having a liaison in this fashion, but this is happening, and it's not an established thing that other municipalities do or other agencies, as reported to me from Mr. Doug Pasco when we had that conversation.
Okay, thank you. And then my only last question before I make my decision is, Attorney Sweat, oh, I'm sorry, did someone have a public comment? No? Okay, Attorney Sweat, is there liability just even on a non-voting member that we put on the SEREMS board?
No.
None, okay.
And you might want to just go subject to acceptance of that person by SEREMS. I mean, we're sending them as a non-voting member. They've given you a verbal that they would accept that.
Correct.
You're asking for something in writing. That's how you could do it.
You should send them a letter of explanation then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table from Ms. Dupree, seconded by Mr. Eskin. Any more discussion? Alrighty, roll call please.
Mr. Eskin,
Yes.
Ms. Dupree,
Yes.